If you're a parent that's watching your child struggle with digestion issues, or sleep and anxiety, meltdowns, or that constant cycle of illness, I want you to pause and listen for just one moment. Because what I'm going to share with you may be the one thing that no one has ever told you. There's a critical single nerve within all of our bodies, but your child's specifically, that controls almost everything, and no one is checking it. It's called the vagus nerve, and it just might be the hidden reason behind everything that you're dealing with. Most of the families who come into our office are already in the trenches. They've tried it all: the gluten free, dairy free, dye free, joy free diets, the supplements, the detoxes, essential oils, homeopathy, pediatricians and therapists and specialists and counselors and all of the people. And still, their child can't sleep. They won't eat, they're not pooping, the meltdowns are explosive, and they're unpredictable. Or they're constantly sick, they're inflamed, anxious, and emotionally shut down. Does that sound familiar? Because if so, you're not alone, and your child isn't broken. Their nervous system is just stuck, and the vagus nerve is the key to getting them unstuck. You see, our vagus nerve is like your child's internal control panel. Now, it connects their brain to every major organ: the heart, the lungs, the gut, our immune system, and even their emotional regulation and their socialization centers. Think of it like their healing highway. It's the system that runs the rest, digest, recover, and regulate side of our nervous system. But here's the problem. Modern kids are growing up with nervous systems that are wired for stress, not for healing. And when that happens, the vagus nerve shuts down and the whole system goes into survival mode. So most parents assume this stress started recently, like yesterday. But the truth is, for many kids, it happens before they were even born. And here's what that progression looks like. So it starts with prenatal stress, high maternal distress, anxiety, or trauma during pregnancy. And then it gets compounded with birth trauma, C-sections, and forceps, vacuums, or cord complications. And then gets even brought further by early childhood interventions, like NICU times and antibiotics, reflux meds, or the developmental stressors like toxins and food and allergies and emotional dysregulation and academic pressure and social pressure and screen time. Now this creates what we call the perfect storm. Now it's a cascade of stress that shuts down the vagus nerve and locks the nervous system in fight or flight mode. The result is a child who can't calm down, that can't sleep, that can't poop, that can't regulate, and is just damn pissed off. But it's not because they won't, but it's because they can't. So if your child's vagus nerve isn't functioning well, it shows up everywhere. It shows up big time with emotional dysregulation, with things like anxiety and meltdowns and hyperactivity. It disrupts their sleep, so they can't fall asleep or stay asleep, or even having things like night terrors. The vagus nerve creates big time digestive dysfunction, so constipation and reflux or inflammation. The vagus nerve regulates our sensory overload, so these kids can't tolerate noises or textures or changes in transitions. It helps to regulate our breathing and our heart rate, so fast breathing and shallow sighing. But it also plays a big role with our immune system, so our allergies, our asthma, and our autoimmune flare-ups. But the most frustrating part of it all is that most doctors only treat the symptoms. They never check the system. You've likely already been told to try breathing exercises and do mindfulness and meditation with them, or box breathing, or give it some time. They're going to grow out of it and mature. But here's the truth. You can't regulate a system that's neurologically stuck. There's only so much talking that you can do because the vagus nerve can't be talked into working again. It needs to be activated from the inside out. And that's why the calm down tools didn't work, why the supplements didn't fix it, and why the therapies didn't stick. Because they were all aimed downstream when the root was still jammed up at the top. At Haven Family Chiropractic, we take a completely different approach because we don't guess. Guesswork's not our thing. But here's what we do instead. What we do is we sit down and we do a full, detailed consultation. No stone left unturned. Every aspect of preconception, of the prenatal period, of labor and delivery, and early childhood stressors. Because that gives us the breadcrumbs and the clues to understand how early, how often stress and subluxation took root within their nervous system. And then we start with the neurological scans, like heart rate variability testing and a couple others, to be able to measure how our vagus nerve is functioning. And then from there, we can create a customized, perfectly tailored plan for your child to be able to address the root cause and not chase symptoms. And then when we start care, we use gentle, neurologically targeted adjustments to be able to activate the vagus nerve. And then we get to track progress over time. So you see the shifts and not just hoping for them. And as the vagus nerve starts to come back online, your child begins to regulate. They fall asleep without a fight. Their digestion improves. The meltdowns reduce. And their body shifts from stress to safety. And it's not magic. It's neurology. So let me tell you about a little girl named Dottie. So she came to us with daily seizures, major developmental delays, in a family who had already exhausted every option, from meds to hospital-induced ketogenic diets. But once we began care, something incredible happened. Within 3 days, she was standing up on her own, something that she hadn't done in over 6 months. And over the next couple of weeks, her energy returned, her cognition improved, and her seizures dramatically reduced. And most of all, her parents got something back that they hadn't had in a long time. And that was hope. That's what happens when you stop chasing symptoms and start restoring the system. If your child's been stuck in a cycle of stress and sickness and struggles and nothing has helped long term, parents, don't give up. You're not crazy. You're just early to the truth. DM our office the word CALM and we'll walk you through how we check, how we measure, and how we restore vagus nerve function the right way. And head to the link in our bio and read how to stimulate the vagus nerve on our blog. Because regulation isn't taught, it's restored. And your child deserves a nervous system that finally feels safe.